Hello everyone, welcome to SwitchUp. My name is Glen and today's video is looking at 10 physical games I've bought for the Nintendo Switch recently. Now I did one of these videos just after Christmas and I'm going to do one whenever I get to 10 games, physical games that I've bought. The gap from now to the last video is about 6 weeks. It won't be that short in future, I'm sure. This is mainly down to the fact that I got some Christmas money and about half of these games were bought with that money. So expect to see a longer gap between videos in future. As I said in that previous video, I do own a fair few of the more obvious Switch games, so a lot of these titles will be a little more obscure, and I'll also put the price of the game and the shop that I bought it from under the title for each game, just to give you some sort of idea of where you may be able to pick them up. Okay, with all that said, let's get started. The first game then is Wargroove, which I mentioned in one of our recent videos on games we'd been playing. This was one of the games I'd picked up with some Christmas money, as I said in that video, and I've really been enjoying my time with this game so far. It's very much like Advance Wars, albeit maybe a bit more difficult in my opinion, and it also comes with some nice extras as you're seeing on the screen now, including a strategy manual, a digital soundtrack, a map and some stickers. This game actually goes for a very decent price now, and is definitely worth picking up if you are into strategy games at all. The next game, another Christmas money pickup, and this is Tales of Vesperia, which is a game again that I'd wanted to buy for quite a while, and is another one that's actually going for a very decent price physically now as well. I haven't played this one yet, as you can see from the footage, it's still sealed. I want to be able to give it a proper chunk of time when I do get round to playing it, but I've heard nothing but good things about this game and I'm really looking forward to giving it a go at some point.
But don't you agree? We're still alive. There comes a time when all you have is...
The next game then is Wasteland 2 Director's Cut. Now this is a game I've wanted to play for ages. I wanted to get it for the PS4, but it's just the sort of game I would have bought, never really been able to have the time in front of the telly to play it properly, and it would have ended up in a drawer somewhere, and these are the sort of games that for me are perfect for the Switch for that very reason. I've put about 4 or 5 hours into this one so far and I'm really enjoying it. I love the setting and some of the scenarios that you find yourself in, including an encounter I had with a gang that were trying to stop me from passing, in which one of my characters threatened to eat their dog if they didn't move out the way, which was enough to get them to move out the way, which I thought was hilarious. The final game I bought with the Christmas money then was Neo Atlas 1469. Now this one is still sealed, as you can see, although I have played it before. It's quite an interesting game. It's not quite what I expected it to be. I thought it was going to be something like the Anno games, where you discover new land and then build settlements, but it's not really like that at all. Instead, you have to shape the land by exploring and building a map, discovering new locations and landmarks as you go, and fighting off pirates. It's quite an interesting game, and one that I'd had my eye on to get physically for a while, and again it just dropped to a really good price, and it's just something a little bit different to play. The next one then is a game called Gigantic Army, and to be honest I've probably overpaid for this one. I got it for £30 from Amazon. The main reasons I bought it were, first of all, I like finding these strange obscure physical games that I didn't even know existed, and secondly it had a limited run, and it's not very often you find games that have had a limited print run outside of the obvious companies. Now you can buy this game on the eShop for about £9, hence the reason I said I've probably overpaid, but I must admit I do really like the box art, and again I just like having these more obscure physical games. It is limited to 3,000 copies, as you can see from the sticker on here, and mine's about halfway through that, and I bought this about 4 weeks ago, so I don't know if they've sold out by now or not. Next game, this was a present for my wife for her birthday, and this is Lego The Incredibles. I bought her a Switch Lite for Christmas. I mentioned that in the previous pickups video. She's a big fan of the Lego games and finished the one I got her for Christmas, which was the Jurassic World one, and this is one of the few Lego games we didn't actually own on the Switch. Again, as you can see, she hasn't tried it yet, it's still sealed, but I'm sure she'll give it a go at some point, and when she does, she normally plays these games through to 100%. The next game was a game called Ghoul Metal, which as you can see I got for just under £10 in a shop called Game. Now if you're anything like me, you'll have a biting point for games, a price in your mind that you're willing to pay for a game, and as soon as it hits that price you'll buy it. I'd had my eye on this one for a little while. I do like rhythm games, but it was always about £5 too much for my liking, and as soon as I saw it in game for that £10 price, I decided that that was the price I was willing to pay. Again, as you can see, I haven't tried it yet, but I will get round to it soon, and considering it includes the base game and all DLC, that's not a bad price at all. Next one then, another one from Game. This is Fitness Boxing. Now it's not very often I buy games from Game, as traditionally they're very expensive, although this pre-owned price of £20 was much cheaper than I've ever seen this game anywhere else. It usually goes for about £35 new, being published by Nintendo. Their games normally keep their prices pretty well. This was another one my wife wanted. Having just had our second child, she wanted to get back in shape and has been playing this one every night, and it's actually pretty decent to be fair, and worth a pickup if you're looking for a fitness game on the Switch, if you can find it for a good price. It's got instrumental versions of 20 different songs on there. Maybe I'll zoom in if I can so you can see which songs are included, and I must admit it is quite funny seeing her swing her arms about while Live While We're Young from One Direction plays, but as I said, it's a decent game. The penultimate game then, this is Everspace Stellar Edition. Now this is actually the American version of this game. For some reason it doesn't seem to have had a particularly large print run in Europe. There is a European version available, but I've never seen it in shops, and the only place I ever see it really is Amazon. And the price for that one does seem to fluctuate, although it's normally pretty expensive. This one was going for £24.99, much cheaper than the European version, and it seems to have a different publisher than the European version, and potentially doesn't include an art book that comes in that version, which may explain the difference in price. Now I've played a tiny bit of this game on Mark's console. He reviewed it for us a while ago and absolutely loved it. He's been recommending it to me ever since, so I'm looking forward to giving it some decent time when I can, but it's one that I'm happy to have physically, having been tracking it down for a little while now. The last one I've got then, and this was a Valentine's Day present from my wife, this is the Risk of Rain 1 and 2 collection. Now I haven't actually played the second game yet, which I think is the main event really on the cartridge. The first game is more of a bonus add-on included in the package, but the first game's amazing. I haven't been able to stop playing it since I got it. It's a roguelike game with a pixel art style, and I know that will put loads of people off straight away, but honestly when you get on a good run, it's just so compelling. It's the most addictive game of this type I've played since The Binding of Isaac, and from what I've seen the second one looks quite different, being in a third person view with quite a psychedelic art style, so I'm really looking forward to giving that one a go. Maybe I'll stick some trailer footage of that one up as well, just to give a true representation of what you get on the game, but I'm going to have to try and stop playing the first one before that happens, and I can't see that happening anytime soon. So there you have it then, there are 10 games that I've bought recently for the Nintendo Switch. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do remember to leave a like if you did. As I said, I'd love to make this a semi-regular series whenever I get to 10 games. I think that's a fair cut-off point, and I'd really like to know any games that you've bought recently or any that you would recommend. Please do stick them in the comments below. A quick thank you to our Patreons as always for your continued support, and to each and every one of you for watching our videos. Take care, and until next time, happy gaming.